What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast. And we're getting closer to 200, y'all, and I still don't have anything to do. But until then, we're going to do this episode here, 187. I like to say 187. I like to say the episode number so that way I'm committed to putting that episode out on time. So for this episode, I'm actually bringing back a guest. She's been on, I think you've been on at least Off the Mats once, and then So You Like Horror, maybe. You've been on a couple podcasts with me. But last time I spoke with this young lady, she had just gotten promoted to blue belt, but we kind of talked a little bit about jiu-jitsu, but we didn't really get a whole lot of jiu-jitsu talk. So we're coming back. We're going all in. So I want to bring back to the podcast my Instagram friend and podcast friend, Shut Up Nut. How you doing, my friend? Welcome back.
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Cool. Good. Hey, I've actually been meaning to reach out to have you back on. It's just the world just moves so fast and I get distracted. So when I'm on Instagram and I'm like, okay, cool, like this post, like that comment, and then I'm like, oh yeah, let me message her. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm hungry. Let's go make a sandwich.
Right.
Life moves on, but I know you're there. So since we last spoke, and again, you were fresh into your blue belt world at that time, and since then you've been competing, helping coach classes. You got a lot going on, my friend. So tell me about it. Give me all the tea.
Yeah. So since we've talked, I've taken over the youth program at my gym. So I'm the head of the youth program. It's been really exciting. And then I just got done. Today was the last class of a 6-week women's self-defense boot camp that I was running, which was really cool. And then just with all of that, I've been given more and more responsibilities at the gym. And I definitely wanted to reach out and talk about it because I feel like jujitsu is just like such a journey, like such a mental health and like a journey to find yourself. And I don't know, I never played any other sports growing up, but I feel like it's a more intense, like humbling journey than other sports might be. So I did want to talk about how coaching has impacted me and how my blue belt has impacted me as a person, and then just kind of talking about what I'm looking for in myself going into a purple belt. I've never chased a belt before. It took me 5 years to get my blue belt, and usually I'm not very I'm not keeping track of anything like that, but I did sit down with my professor recently and was like, I want to get my purple belt in a reasonable amount of time. What does that look like for me? And it was kind of a shock when he was like, as far as your technique goes, I feel like you're there, but you're quiet and you don't take up a lot of space. And I don't know if you trust your own jujitsu. And you work here, and I want you to be inspiring people. So that's just what I've been working on, is just kind of making friends in the community and talking and telling myself that I kind of know what I'm doing a little.
So I do think, with a lot of times when we start jiu-jitsu, there is this ideal of, chasing the belt. I got to get my blue belt in this much time. I got to do it, this fast. I got to be the fastest. And eventually you get to a point where you're just like, you know what, screw it. I'm here for this journey. I'm here to learn. And I'm glad that, you became aware of that, early on, because, there are a lot of, a lot of grapplers. I think I was that way early. It took me 4 years maybe to get my blue belt. So I think at about, maybe 3.5, 3, I was just like, I don't care. I'm just showing up to class. I just want to grapple. Because jiu-jitsu for many of us isn't just about jiu-jitsu and the belts. It's about finding ourselves, mental health for sure, dealing with stress, dealing with, outside world problems. So the belts become part of the decoration of learning about yourself. So
Mhm.
I'm glad you're able to, kind of pick up on that and just say, you know what, I'm going to do this when I'm going to, I'll get it when I get it. Who
Mhm.
cares?
For
So,
me, it was opposite. Like, I signed up thinking I have nothing to lose. I'm a slow learner. I've never jogged in my life, and I have no expectations for myself whatsoever. And it took forever. Like, I always tell people when I compete, people are like, "You did really great. How long have you been competing?" And I'm like, 6 years. And everyone's like, "Oh," like, because I compete every time like it's my first time, and I'm not the best competitor at all. And like now that I'm coaching and I can see other, like, I'm teaching these people and they're doing the thing, and that's just been like a confidence booster. And then winning gold for my first time. I've literally competed maybe like 30, 40 times. I've won gold for my first time this past month, and it felt so good. And I won gold versus one girl who was at my gym. So it wasn't like a huge like competition or anything, but just knowing that like I did it, I got the gold medal. It took years, but I did it, and there's like a situation in which I can do it. It gave me this like mentality of like, maybe I don't have to wait 5 years for my purple belt. Maybe I could like do it and do it faster. So now I'm
sure.
like, almost not, I don't want to say I'm chasing the belt, but like I'm giving myself more of a timeline than I ever have before, and more like expectations of myself as far as that goes. So we'll see how it turns out. I know usually it's like disappointment, and I always tell people like don't think about when you're getting that belt. It doesn't matter. But I have like, I guess I thought I had like imposter syndrome. I was never going to get it. And then now I'm like, maybe I could get it by like December 2025. Like, who knows?
The fact that you're still doing this, speaks volumes. And it is good to kind of have a, maybe not necessarily chasing the belt, but you do still have an expectation of yourself. And that counts as something as well. So good for you on that. And congrats on the win,
Thanks.
getting gold. You might say, yeah, it wasn't a big competition, da, da, da. But competition is competition all the same. So
Thank
congrats to
you.
you. I like you compete. I don't. I've competed once, and you know, it's not my cup of tea. So even if you're not out there winning gold, consistently, you're still putting yourself out there and saying, look, I'm here to do this. So congrats. I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Um, so with coaching, how is that, reflected in your grappling game at this point?
I think at first I was just like, I would teach the cross collar choke, and then I would just cross collar choke everyone. I think what shocks me a lot is I never go to the intermediate classes. I only go to fundamentals. So it should work there with all the new people signing up, and they go to the fundamentals classes, and then I'm just like doing the kids curriculum all willy-nilly on them. It feels really, really good until I get to like comp class or like intermediate class, and then I'm like, this kids curriculum is not cutting it anymore. But I've definitely seen like, I've seen a step up in how fast I'm learning because I have to know the moves better for the questions. Like, and my kids are kind of like nitpicky, and like they're kind of twerps in a sense of that they just want to question everything that I do. And they're like, I think it's stronger if you do it this way or this way. And I'm like, no, you're wrong, twerp. I'll show you every detail to make it perfect, even if it's not working against every other person in the room in my class. Like, that kid did it to that kid, so I must be doing something right.
So with competition and everything moving forward, I know, you're saying you compete, at every competition that you get the opportunity to get to, coming off of this victory here, winning gold, what did you pick up from that competition that you think, you can carry over moving forward? If there was anything that you did differently, could just be that, you were doing the same thing, over and over, and finally, it sealed in. But was there anything that you did different that might carry over to future competitions?
Um, try, definitely try with all my might and everything that I got. I think that after losing like maybe like my first few competitions, I just stopped trying and stopped having any expectations for myself. And I don't even think I realized I stopped trying, but I would just go out there, slap, bump, and just kind of roll like I was in the gym rolling with like a buddy. Um, this last competition and the last few competitions, I've just been trying like all my might and strength. And like, if I'm not getting off the mat exhausted and my grips aren't sore, and like, then I wasn't doing enough. Because if I'm gonna do it all, like now's the time. I have all my life to be sloppy with my jujitsu. So I think that that's my biggest thing. The competition before my last one, I had like 5 matches in gi, and 4 matches. I lost all 4. I think I won 1, but I lost 3, and I tried with all my might, and then I felt fine about losing. And then I saw a girl wearing a gi of like a jujitsu gym, well known in town. I'm just gonna say it, Easton. They're so good. They're so big. They have a lot of black belts. And I saw her little Easton gi. I was super intimidated by it, and I didn't even try. And so after that, I was like, I lost 3 matches, and I felt happy to be here. And then I lost that match, and I felt like shit because I was a noodle out there. And so what I did is I went up and signed up for Nogi, and I won 1 match, lost 1 match, and ended up getting bronze in the bracket. And I felt okay. Like it's okay to lose as long as you try. And it feels like shit to lose knowing that you kind of just sat there and didn't do anything. Like you didn't try at all.
Sure.
But you can tell if it's like a fight worth fighting. And sometimes it's not, and you just get like annihilated, and that sucks. But like if you lose and you can feel that you put up a good fight, like that's a win, I think.
No, I absolutely agree. I think there is something to be said though about going out there and competing, and really, the effort that you put into it, because you think about it kind of like, with your training partners. You want to be a good training partner. You don't want to be a limp noodle out there with them, and they're trying to work, getting ready for a competition. You're just like flopping on the mat. You kind of look at it the same way in a competition. You go out there and you know, you give them a good fight. They earn that win. They're gonna feel good about it. You as the competitor should feel good that you put up a good fight. So I think I get what you're saying. Because yeah, if you go out there and you're just like, I'm just here, you know.
Yeah. And like I've paid money to go compete and not try at all. And I think it's
Have
because
you?
like when you lose and you don't try, sometimes it feels a little bit like better. Like, well, I didn't try, so of course I lost. But
Sure.
I think I just got over that too, that feeling. And like I pay money to be here, and this is my time to like give it my all. So
When you're training, like, do because oftentimes I say, you fight how you train. Like if you go up against like let's say you as a blue belt, you go up against a brown belt. Is it more of like you know what? I don't stand a chance. I'm just gonna, we're just here. Or is it, more of a like, look, I know this guy. I'm going at him, or gal for that matter. I don't know why I just assume all guys are brown belts. There are female brown belts and black belts.
I definitely have both. I have like the training partners that like I met them at purple belt. They're black belts now or brown belts now. That when I get my hands on them, like I'm gonna go ham, knowing that I'm just gonna get beat up the whole time. Um, but for the most part, like if there's a brown belt visiting my academy, and I want to say that this is what I've been sincerely like with my all working on the past few months, but like I definitely am the more of like a defense type. My guard retention is the best thing that I have got going for me because I just have been playing defense. Like, I think I maybe tried to submit people for like a few months. And then between then and a few months ago, I've only been playing defense. And I've just recently been like, I actually know transitions and sweeps. And like, I can mount people and submit people too, and I'm working on it. And it's all like the talk that my professor had with me too is like, I know that you know these moves, do them, trust in yourself. Like, why are you on the floor the whole time? Stand up into headquarters. Like, technical stand up is a thing that we learn.
You and I share that very much in common. Like my jiu-jitsu is all defensive now. When I started, I was like a go get them. Like I was attacking everyone. I didn't know a damn submission, but I was trying everything. And then,
Right.
I got to a point where I just became super defensive, and that's just my game. So much so that I had to go to one of my coaches who was like, "Hey man, can I get some private lessons with you?" And he was like, "What do you want to work on?" I was like, "Well, look, I could defend like a motherfucker. Like, ain't nobody, tapping me. Not too often at least. But I don't attack, and I know jujitsu, but there's something blocking. So I get, I think I get where you're coming from. So
And just like a space outside of jujitsu, like I think the point my professor's trying to make, and like something that I've recently learned in my women's boot camp, teaching it and seeing the girls do these things on the mats, I'm like, what I want you to do is take this outside, take it to work with you and be like, hey, I don't want your hand on my shoulder, don't put your hand on my shoulder, or like just take up the space in a day-to-day setting every day, doing like go on being like a confident person with your chin up ready to break someone's guard everywhere you go.
yeah, that I mean, that it makes sense. It all adds together because again, if you're doing your jujitsu in a loosey goosey way on the mat and not confident, it's like, what if you need to use that
Mm.
in a workplace, in a real life scenario, you know, I think we like to believe that, when it's go time, we're ready to go. I know I say that to myself. It's like, look, I might be passive on the mats with my teammates because we're friends. But if I need to, yoke somebody up, I will. I don't know that though. I've only had to use my jiu-jitsu once, and it wasn't even like, I mean, when people say jiu-jitsu doesn't work in the streets, they're so goofy with that because it's like, yeah, I'm not going to go on the street and do a fucking berimbolo. All right.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to get stumped, but position awareness, body awareness, distance awareness, that's jujitsu. So I mean, I've
But
had like
also,
things.
if you're like picking a fight at the park on some grass, I'll berimbolo you into a rear naked so that your mama can get a video. Like,
Oh, that.
just
Oh
on
my
some
god,
grass. But yeah, I mean, know your surroundings. That's a huge part of it.
it'd be terrible to somebody inverts and then fucking ends up snatching your back and choking you, rear naked choking you, and then that
Just
video
like
goes all over the
dancing around
internet.
them, pretty much.
If that happened to me, I'd probably I don't. Oh, I'd have to talk to Jennifer Lawrence and be like, "Hey, so remember that thing that happened? You got everything scrubbed from the internet. How'd you do that? 'Cause I need help now,
I need help. I
please.
need that kind of, I need those people.
Like, oh, money. Okay, well, I don't have that, but but no, it's absolutely true though. Carry it with you. Like jujitsu is a weapon. You know, and have it polished and ready to go when needed. But I think, like you said though, too, if there's a visiting brown belt or something, there is kind of a different approach. You know, I can speak for myself in
Intimidating.
that I'm shy, so yeah, it's intimidating. Like, I don't know them. You know, they might be like a super duper competitive like brown belt, and if you get some kind of goofy sweep on them, what are they gonna do now? Are they gonna unload the clip on you? Like what's up? So I get it.
Yeah, exactly. And the answer is yes, by the way. They probably will.
Yeah. Like I can't say that I've ever swept a brown belt
I
or
know
done
me either, but
offensively to a brown belt, but I imagine if I do, they're gonna like, oh yeah, this
bet.
45-year-old dude here, I'm
That's
about to put
funny.
this
That's what I do with
through
my
your belly.
kids. My kids the other day, I was the rear naked choke. I was telling him the back of the hand to the back of the head, and he was like, "No, this is stronger. The palm to the back of the head is stronger." And I was like, I showed him, we did technique or whatever, and then it's been like 2 weeks now, and I've rear naked choked him every day that he's come because that just didn't sit right with me when he was like, "No, ma'am, you're wrong." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna rear naked choke you until you're into the adult classes." Then,
Every time he shows up, you're like, so is this wrong? Is this still wrong?
yeah,
It doesn't
every
feel
time
wrong.
too, I ask him. I'm like, "Are you sure? Does this feel weak? Does it?"
You know what doesn't feel weak? Your tap. That doesn't feel weak. That's a very strong tap. It's
Right.
fast. It seems like you're scared. Scared
I
for your
also
life?
tell him like he could test his when he gets in my back. Never.
Yeah. You can try. You can
I
try,
love
my
picking on
friend.
my kids. He's really good though. He won bronze in the same competition that I won gold, and it was like my heart just like grew 3 times the size because it was the first time he won a medal. So I was
Cool.
like, that is awesome.
That is awesome. Good. Good. When you're coaching, um, you know, you have any like, butterflies or nervousness, for your kids going out there?
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I'm nervous that I'm not going to know what he needs to know right then and there because
Mm.
I've only been training like 7 years, but like on and off, and I'm only a blue belt, and like I'm barely playing the game myself. So I'm like, I just want to make sure that I have everything in my pocket that you might need. And
Sure.
I don't, but he knows that, and we were just working on it together. So,
As long as you're able to, guide them, it's a walk together. You get
mhm.
them to a certain point, and it's like, you know, there are certain points where you both know it's like, oh shit,
Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
never seen an omoplata before. What the fuck is this? That because I did happen to one of our kids in competition, and we didn't go over that with them, but she had to move up. She moved up in age because I think there's no one in her group or something. So she ended up moving up. I believe she was 11 or 12, and she was going against 13 and up. And the girl put her in omoplata, and she had no idea what it was. And we're like, shit, how do we coach her out of this?
Yeah.
And she survived. She got through it and lost on points. But the other young lady that she was going against, her coach was we didn't hear this. She heard it. Her coach was like break her shoulder, and she came over afterward and said to her, she was like, shook her hand and thanked her for competing against her. And she says, my coach was saying, break your shoulder, and I was not going to do that. And I was like, thank you for being a good person.
Yeah.
And and considering too, you're going against, I don't know if they knew that our kid was younger, but younger and tough kid. So
It's just like that competition mentality. Like, that's how the adults think when they compete. Like, if they don't tap, they don't tap, break their shoulder. Like, but it's intense. And
yeah,
that's definitely not how I want to go about things. Like, give your opponent plenty of time to tap and they will tap. If you have it and you have it right and you have the control that you should have, then you shouldn't be worried and you should have plenty of time to give them time to tap.
Mm-hmm. I think that's part of my thing too with potential, competing is I don't have that killer instinct to say, well, if you're not tapping, I'm snapping your arm. Like that's
Yeah.
just like the fact that people send me limb breaking videos on Instagram nonstop is upsetting because it's
Oh,
like you fuckers know I don't like this, and you keep sending me things that are even repeat videos. Like, it's the same video most of the time. I was like, why? Why are we doing this? So
yeah.
I,
I've
I
definitely been
wouldn't.
in a position where like I'm getting yelled at to break their arm. And like I'm like, mm-mm. And I've been in a position where I look at her coach and I'm like, she is not tapping. But the thing is she can't get away. And I think that's the matter. Like that's how you know you have it. And self-defense jujitsu, like you shouldn't be practicing breaking each other's arms. You're practicing control until the police arrive, or like control until you can get away, control the distance and dip. Like you're never actually like, those are always last case scenario situations. So I think like, yes, you're gonna get the tap way faster. Like maybe you don't even need to be that good if you go really fast. But I don't know. I don't like with especially with the kids, I don't appreciate that type of mentality.
No, I agree. I mean,
Have you
it's
thought about
just
getting your girl into jujitsu? Is she training it?
so we've had some discussions, my wife and I. There was a program going on nearby for homeschool kids, and it was a really good price, and the time was right, and I was like, oh, you should do this. Like, let's go. And the initial conversation went like, okay, yeah, that I like it. It's a good idea. What's the gym? And she said the gym's name, which I won't repeat here. And I was like, no, I don't particularly. I'm not fond of the guy, that runs that gym. Um, I haven't had direct personal instances with him, but there have been some things that kind of were floating about, and just his social media. He would say things that it was just like, I don't know about you, buddy. Like
Mhm.
I don't think we would jive very well. And my wife was like, okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. And I thought about it, I was like, I don't think he's going to be coaching it. He's not going to be coaching these kids on a Thursday afternoon. It's
Yeah,
probably going to
that's
be a
true.
blue belt or a purple belt doing it. And, I was like, why don't we do this? Let's sign her up. Let's go take a look at it. And, you know, you can let them know that, her dad trains, and, I'll stop in from time to time, just, encourage and everything. And my wife was like, you know what? No, I don't want to give that guy my money. I was like, fuck. I shouldn't have said nothing.
Dang,
Like,
did she like look at his social media?
I believe she did. I believe she did. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, fuck. All right. Because like our gym is pretty costly. So to have two of us in this household training there, it's pretty penny. And that's not to say it's not worth it. It's
Right.
definitely worth, putting your child into jujitsu. I'm thinking, um, like I told my wife, what I'm looking at probably doing is this summer, you know, moving forward with something in some capacity. I give myself an allowance, and I might just take my allowance and pay for her tuition. And my wife was like, "What the fuck are you doing? You need to buy action figures." I was
Aw,
like,
all
no, I don't.
prepared for your like attic.
I was
That's
like,
so funny. She knows. I feel like I have heard so many stories of like your wife saying something in the store and she's like, "Oh, he's not going to find this anywhere. I'm going to just grab it really quick."
Yeah, that's usually the case. I'll get pictures now texting me, "Hey, do you have this?" And like lately there's been hardly anything that I've wanted. So she'll send me pictures and I'm like, I don't have it, but I also don't want it.
Mhm.
Or I'll find it on Amazon for like in the store they're like 25 on Amazon. After a while they drop down to like $8 sometimes. It's like I'll wait for the price to drop.
Mhm.
'Cause I don't think that one's worth it. So, she gets it, but at the same time, I'd much rather put my kid in jiu-jitsu than to fill my basement with more plastic. So,
Yeah,
but
that's
there is the interest. My daughter has that because she'll come over to class with me sometimes, and she runs around the gym. Like the screensaver on our TV is just a slideshow of her like growing up, and there's a picture of her at the gym playing with the pug, playing tug of war.
oh,
And she's like, "Dad, can I go back to the gym? I want to go play with the dog."
that's
I was
so
like,
cute.
"Baby,
What's
I
a gym
haven't been."
without a jitsu dog?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I told her, I was like, I don't go to that specific location right now. I go back over to the other one close to home, and we don't have a
Mhm.
dog there. She was like,
Oh,
"What? You don't have a dog?" I was like, "No, baby. We
yeah,
we
you got to
sorry."
get a gym dog there.
We did have someone that would bring their dog in, but that's usually like for the night classes, and I go on Saturday mornings
Oh,
where
okay.
where they aren't. So,
Yeah.
eh, but she's aware of it. She watches jujitsu and MMA with me, so she's fully aware of everything. We used to during COVID, when we are doing we got mats in the basement, I'd have her working on solo drills and stuff. Now she's actually bigger. So like, hey, now you can actually do some of these drills with me, like partner drills. And we're gonna work on this thing called a heel hook. Like, come here, let me see your leg. Like you heal quickly, so it's all right if I tear your
0
ACL.
to 100.
We didn't jump into wrist locks, so I mean, like
Dang.
that's for when she turns 9.
Okay,
Um,
that's fair. Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, there is interest in the plan to put her in jujitsu at some point. I was also my thing is because she's very much like me. I don't want to put her in too early and have her get burnt out and lose interest
Yeah.
early on, and then never want to go back to it. So I feel like she turns 8 in May. So, let's look at it. And our rule here is if you sign up for something, you have to at least finish out the whatever the contract is or whatever the
Mhm.
season is. You have to finish that out at least. Versus saying, well, I don't like this after one class. And it's like, well, sorry. You
Right.
signed up for 7 years. You're in this until you're 15. But we'll get her to it eventually, and I think she'll really enjoy it. I just, I also don't want to be that parent. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be. I don't want to be that parent that's, my kid is doing jujitsu now. I'm living vicariously through my child.
Oh,
As
yeah.
they're ranking up and doing so well because kids today, the jujitsu that kids today are learning.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen Helena?
Yeah,
She
they.
is my, like, inspiration right now. She's
I
crazy.
mean,
I think Allie was supposed to fight, like, someone that she was supposed to fight or her or something. I don't
yeah, she
know.
was supposed to fight her specifically.
Oh,
I think I think Ali. That's when she got injured. She got
yeah.
injured
I didn't know she
right
was gonna
before the
fight
fight.
her.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
'Cause
crazy.
there was something. There was a thread. So I don't know what social media platform it was on, but it made its way to Instagram, and someone was talking big shit. Um, basically,
Allie
kind
didn't
of.
deserve the fight.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like who the fuck are you? Shut up,
Yeah,
fucking
that was annoying.
dork.
But
But
Allie doesn't care. Allie's like,
no,
she's such a go-getter. She's so cool.
Yeah, it's been really really fun just watching her journey, just
I
watching her like
know.
go. It's like, oh my
And just
god, like
blow up as this like jujitseria, like famous inspiration. Like she just blew up. Like it was
like,
insane. I remember like I stopped going to Dark Horse Combat during COVID. I stopped going for like 10 months and I got back and Allie was there. And I went back 2 months later and she was a blue belt. And then I went back to like maybe a month later and she taught all of the classes. And then I was like, dang, this girl's onto something. Like she is fast.
yeah,
She's a fast learner and she's badass.
there are those individuals that they take to something and it becomes theirs. And it's like, no matter what it is, they're going to excel. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's like she's also another one that I was like, oh, I should reach out and try to get her back on the podcast. I was like, no, you're a celebrity now. I got to chill.
I
Like,
know she's like famous now.
like I, I wouldn't even know what to say to her. I'm like, hey, so
She would
you
be
do
so
jujitsu?
happy to be on the podcast though. She would be
Yeah,
like, I miss you.
like
And
she's super sweet. I always like joke about it. But I do feel like what, like with her training all the time and competing. It's like I don't want to jump into your space. I don't want to take up your time. So I think I it looks like she's you know pretty well healed. So
I
I'm
think
looking
so.
forward to seeing her get back out there and competing. Hopefully she gets that matchup again
I
because
know.
I think it would have been a fun fight for her. It would have been a good fight for everyone to see. And for the doofus out there running his mouth, it's like, look, dude, what the fuck are you doing other than writing on
Right.
the internet, dick?
Yeah,
Um,
that was annoying. I hope she gets that fight again, and I think you should have her on the podcast. She probably has so much jitsu wisdom that I would be so stoked to hear it. I'm just too shy to reach out, and I'm like, you should do it, and then we can talk to her through the podcast.
you know what? Here's an idea. I'll get you both here.
Hmm.
I'll work it out. Um, However we have to do it. It'll be all three of us, and we'll do a round table or a cross table or whatever it is.
That'd be
But
awesome.
either way it goes, you know, seeing her jujitsu journey and just seeing her, you know, progress and learn. Seeing the young kids coming up and learning it is, and yourself. Because hey,
Mhm.
like you're no old lady. Like you're one of them youngins as well. So I look at jujitsu just with everybody coming into it now. The shit that I learned when I came in was far different. And granted, I know you've been training what 7 years. I mean, you're still kind of in the thick of it though. You're still, you know, at a young age where you're still absorbing it. I started at 38 and I came in like guns a blazing, like, oh my God, I'm scrambling with the wrestlers. I was rolling. And then once I hit 40, my hip felt funny one day. I was like, that ain't right.
Oh
Guess I'm
no.
not scrambling today. Oh, guess we're gonna be pulling guard now. And then oh shit, my other hip hurts. I guess you're just gonna pass this guard. We're not even
Oh
training
shit.
today. So, but the stuff that I was learning, at blue belt, a lot of younger grapplers, kids specifically, are learning that shit into the door. It's like they walk in the door and I was like, all right, so this is what we're doing. Whereas, when I came in as a white belt, I was like, all right, well, this is you know, Americana, Kimura. All right, now we're gonna work our way up to an arm bar, some rear naked chokes, guillotine, just step by step. Now it's just like throw them in the fire, like
Yeah,
let them cook.
for sure. Definitely. They're like inversing months into and doing the bolos and like all the shit.
Yeah. One of my teammates said to me a couple weeks back, because I was somehow I was like, hey, I'm not built for inverts. Inverting is not my thing. I got this belly in the way, number one. Number two, I got a bad neck. Number three, as soon as I go upside down, I get scared. And he was like, well, I mean, come on, man, the kids are doing it. I was like, look at those little fucks. They're like bendy. Like I don't even know if they have actual like vertebrae. Like
That's
don't
true. They're
don't
young
give me
enough to
that.
just reconstruct it.
Yeah. It's like you just see them like fall apart and like their body just reforms like a fucking transformer. It's like, okay, that's
Literally.
terrifying. Actually, I rode with one of the young ladies. She's a blue belt now, but I remember, when they first came in, years ago, and I rode with her over the summer, and it was such a weird like experience because it's like 'cause I'm no longer coaching, so it was like, okay, hey, what's going on? We slap hands, and like she just jujitsu circles around me, and I was like, holy shit, I'm out of my element. Like I have no business here.
Yeah, I love how the kids just learn fast, like, they just learn way faster than adults, and I mean, I'm only 23, so maybe I need to pick up my pace, but my kids learn way faster than adults, like, I can maybe do 4 techniques tops in an adult class, and then with the kids, like, they're bored, and we have 30 minutes left in class, and we've hit everything in this month's curriculum, so
I
Jujitsu
think we
games.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too. Is like, kids get to play like really fun games too. Because like when I used to teach, that was always a thing. Kids learn through play. So, a parent could walk into the classroom and be like, "Oh, these kids are just playing. What do you guys do all day? You guys look like you just play." I was like, "Yeah, we are playing, but they're also learning through play." I mean, my current job now, if you look at the documentation I do every day, it's like, hey, we went to the library, we played board games. We went to the library and we played Uno. We went to the basketball court and, we played around the world. There's learning going on for the individual that I'm working with, and people could just, if you look at the documentation, I was like, that doesn't look like you're learning anything. I was like, you learn so much through play
Yeah.
and kids, especially,
Even with the adults, like I incorporate a lot of games into all of my adult classes. I know that some of the like big, like masculine bad boys don't love playing like games. Last week when I just did warm-ups for one of the coaches. He asked me to warm up the class for him and like this really big, strong, masculine guy who, like, I know and I've known him for like a year, but he gets like frumpy when he can't pass my guard, and he gets frumpy when I sweep him out of my mount. Because, like, I won't let anyone mount me, don't get me wrong, but if you get mount, I'll sweep you and I feel good about it. So he just gets like really frumpy about it, and he was really mad that I was like, for warm-ups we're just going to play a game, and he was like, for adults we usually just do, and I was like, oh, I know, I've been training 7 years, I know what adults usually do, but we're going to play a game because it's fun and we're all kids sometimes. Like,
absolutely.
and it's
One,
beneficial, like you learn stuff, you get in good habits.
the one of our Saturday classes, our coach had us do a game where basically he put the timer on and says you have 1 minute. You're bottom out. Get out. If you don't get out, you're doing burpees. I can't stand burpees. During football
They're the worst.
practice, we did burpees and I cried. Like I was a freshman, but still, like we were doing burpees and the ground was like solid, like it was cold, so the ground was like hard. I remember every time I hit the ground, he was just like, "Oh my god, I hate this so much," but it made me tougher. But like playing that game though, it does like it puts a sense of urgency on you because it's like, all right, you want to do these burpees or you're gonna get out of mounts. And
Right.
I was going with one of our tougher guys too, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not gonna have this guy." You know, first off, establish dominance over me. Number one, number two, I'm not doing burpees. Now, when the tables are turned, I had him for a while. It got close, and there's a confidence boost there for a second. Where I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't think I would make it 8 seconds holding this dude down, let alone like almost a minute, but he too hates burpees. So he was like, I to be fair though, I'm a tubby fella. So, you know, he's taller than me, but I'm positive I outweigh him. I'd say 20 pounds.
As
So
the smaller person, that doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
it shouldn't, and usually it doesn't, because one of my favorite people to train with is a much smaller female, and it I love training with her because it is such a challenge, because I can never hold her in side control. Getting mount on her is, yeah, that ain't happening for me. Like I try and she's out, she's gone. She just moves so much. I'm like, and if she gets to my back, I don't know why I can't like shake her off my back. I can't escape. Now, if I get her back though, I do feel very confident that if I get her back, I'm there, I'm in control. But the problem is getting there. She
Yeah.
like she's tough. So you little humans, grr.
Yeah. Pros and cons.
Yes, yes, very much so. I mean, being bigger, sure, I can just use my strength. You know, I can muscle my way through things, but that's also really like shitty technique, though, in most cases, if I'm muscling my way through. That's not to say strong dudes, don't have good technique. There are a lot of dudes that are massively strong with amazing technique. And then there are guys who are just really shitty at technique that are just really strong. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
like I got the arm bar. Yeah, I mean,
Did
kind
you
of.
did you get the arm bar? Did you just like
Yeah.
move me into there?
I don't know if that was really like the sweep that you did. It's like, yeah, sure, you
No,
swept
you
me,
just
but
pushed me.
yeah, like you just bench pressed me, and that's not a sweep. Like, since when did bench press become a sweep?
For
Weirdo.
me, I just get so angry because I'm like, I know you just pushed me and it shouldn't have fucking worked. And it's me. It's not you strengthening out of it. I don't have a technique stronger than your strength. And then I get mad about it. Like,
I mean, and there are the cons to for your side of it. I
yeah.
mean, but I mean that's the beauty of jujitsu, though, is we work on those things, and your game is designed for you, and your game is designed you know to win against whoever. If you're
Mhm.
going against me, who's, well, I don't even know how much I weigh. I'm scared to touch the scale, but we're gonna say 215. I am positive it's higher. We're gonna go with 215. If you're going against me at 215, I probably got you by 100, close to 100 pounds. That's gonna be a fucked up match. But
But I can't wait to roll with you.
yeah, yeah, thanks. Because just as I just said, yeah, this young lady that I roll with, she's a nightmare for me. She's like, yes,
I'm
that's it.
like,
This is my
I'm gonna
jam.
be a little monkey girl.
Dude, there's this female brown belt I rolled with. Oh, she got my back. I thought it was the end. I was so scared. I was like, I'm not sure what to do. Like, she didn't submit me, but it was like the way that she clung to me like a backpack. I was like,
Yeah.
this is how you do it. Like, I've been
Dang.
doing it all wrong.
I That's what I need. I need to take a private from someone like from like the smallest black belt out there and learn how to cling like a backpack.
It's a game changer, because when she got my back, it then clicked in my mind. I need to be this way on people's backs now. And there was no fear at all that she was going to get shaken off or, rolled or anything. She was like, nah, I'm here. You've got to carry me now. And I was like, she's right. I do. And I don't know how to like escape. And of course, my coach is sitting there watching it like, this fucking guy. Like, what have we been teaching him? So,
She's a brown belt,
yeah.
coach. I can't slam her on the mat. What am I supposed to do?
Like, she's a brown belt and I'm a little dumb. Like, that is not a good combination, dude. Like,
Dude,
and
I know that feeling though, because like after competition, my coaches and my professor, they're all like every time they're like, well, that one you probably should have been able to. Or that one you should have probably, I'm surprised that you weren't able to every single time. And I'm like, I'm not a good competitor. I get nervous. I can't hear
Yeah.
you guys. I am thinking about like everything else, not what you were saying to me.
That's definitely a thing though too, is the nerves. You know,
Mm.
you just lose sight of everything because you're nervous. It's like, oh shit. And like, why are they trying to like? Why is this person across from me trying to like hurt me? Well, you're in a competition.
I know.
Shit.
Oh shit, you're right. I am. I'm like,
Like,
girl, why are you going ham right now? And then she's like, it's a competition.
didn't we just slap hands? I thought that was like we're cool now, right? Like,
I know.
yeah, cool to fight. Like, fuck. I want to
I'm
leave.
like, I have been in the past pretty verbal in competing. So like I'll like accidentally hit someone in the face and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I'll even stop the match and reach up for their face and be like, are you okay? But they're like, they take advantage. They'll take my arm and
Of
armbar
course.
me as I like reach up and be like, did I bruise your face?
Like, I wonder though, because I mean, like you and I clearly are of the same branch of jujitsu where we're like super nice. Like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, so am I. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
why are you hurting
Literally.
me?
Literally every time.
Um, but I wonder, because I think about that though too, when it's like you're super nice, but it's like Sour Patch Kids, you know. Like now they're sweet. Oh, now they're sour. But I think for us, we don't have the sour.
I think that I have it, just not it's never gonna be a girl my age, my size that's upsetting me. If I was competing against like the guy whose first day of rolling, he's like, you know what, I don't feel it. I don't think you're doing it right. And I'm like, no, you know what? They put me with you for a reason. Like it's your first day. I promise I'm doing it right. Like if I was competing against that guy and that guy's ego, like then I would win.
Yeah, I think that's another big thing too, is like the ego that people come in with. And it's like, then they go against you. It's like, oh, look at this tiny human here. And they're like, oh shit. Like, why won't she get off of my back? Wait, what's she doing? Is this a choke? Is this Valhalla? Am I going to
Right,
like I'm listening?
exactly.
But I'm sure, your jujitsu. I mean, your blue belt, you're out there competing. So, it's valid. It's, you're good. You're good. I believe in you. Uh, After competing, do you go over your video of the matches or anything?
Yeah, I usually like record all my matches and I watch them. And then I'll send them to my uncle. And my uncle owns an academy in Arizona, and I'm in Denver now. And he will be like, at 135, you let go of the script. Why did you do that? And at 147, this is what caused the sweep. And at here, like at 370, we need to work on this and we need to work on your dog, like your dog fight. And like, so he'll like circle things and take screenshots and like give me timestamps and like he's intense with it.
In my mind, I'm thinking that's got to be cool to have that, that feedback. And I was like, maybe not. A little too intense. Relax. Like, you don't
Fine.
got to tell me everything that's wrong. You just tell me some of the things that are wrong.
Right. I like it. I do like it. I take what I want.
It's like he'll send you like all this information, like spreadsheets, like here's all the answers. Like, yeah, I'm only like only gonna look at like a couple of these things, like the things that aren't hurtful, like just the
Right.
things that will help.
The things that are not hurtful. That's like key word. That's
Like,
funny.
triggered. Um,
I'm like, look, if you want to go win the competition, you need to sign up for a competition, brother, because I am my own person.
That's where I always think about it as I'm looking at competitions and stuff. And I don't ever speak ill of anyone competing, because there are people that get on the internet and just talk shit. They'll laugh at someone that messed up something or did something goofy. It's like, hey man, they're out there. You're not. I'm not.
Mhm.
But like I- um I had a gentleman on who was at ADCC and he did a buggy choke and he got slammed and that video went all over the internet. And I didn't actually know it was him until he brought it up on the podcast. I saw the video. I'm pretty sure I reposted the video and he mentioned it was him. I was like, oh sure. But in no way was it, in the matter of laughing at, his folly. It was really a matter of like, oh shit, is this legal? That's why I posted the video. I was like, oh, this dude, and I'm like, oh, it's ADCC. Yeah, it's fucking legal. So, oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, folks that compete, my hat goes off to all of you because
Mm.
when you get out there, there's just all the nerves and all the adrenaline that's flowing through. So it's like I I have panic attacks going to class, let
Yeah.
alone going to compete. So
Yeah.
you kudos to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've definitely like experienced that. Like, there's like a social aspect of it that is like very overwhelming too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just like there's so many pieces of jujitsu and so many ways that it just like picks at you and who you are and what you're capable of and like getting comfortable being uncomfortable in every type of situation. Like it's the best for that.
Sure, sure.
Just like putting
Um,
yourself out there in every way possible, like socially and physically and emotionally and all of it.
when it comes to mental health and grappling, like it's like how does that work for you? And just kind of get out there on the mat. Is it therapeutic to get out there and compete, or is it like are you able to drown the outside world out, or do you bring that onto the mat? Like if somebody cuts you off in traffic, you're like, "Ugh," like somebody's getting their ass whipped on the mat. It's like, why me?
I like to think that I can do that because I'm so angry in my day to day that like I like to think that I take it to jujitsu and then I beat everyone up. But realistically, like I get to jujitsu and I'm like nervous to do what I know how. And then I'm end up doing it. And I think that like a lot of times I get grumpy on my way to jujitsu, like this is a chore, knowing that it's actually a privilege. And then I leave jujitsu and I feel better about myself just for going. And I think like there's days that I don't feel that good about it. And I'm like, why do I do this? That wasn't really that fun. And then a week later, I'm like, if there's one thing that I have in my life that is for me, that I'm proud to be like, this is what I do, and I'm still doing it. And there's one thing I care about, it's jujitsu. So I definitely like, I think that like just as hard as it hits like the lows, like waiting for your belt and like comparing to people and like seeing people surpass you and like being smothered all day, like the lows, I think, and knowing that I can get through those lows help me throughout my lows in my everyday life. um so I don't think that jujitsu is like a place where I just don't think about my like sadness or like the downfalls of my life. But it definitely makes me feel like if I can do this, I can do that.
Sure.
So, and there's
Do you,
times where it's really, really fun too. So,
do you listen to music on the way into class? Like, do you have anything that hypes you up, or you just go in because there's some psychopaths that just drive in with no music, and it's like I don't want to roll with that dude.
oh my gosh, that's crazy. I know that dude too. That's crazy. I listen to metal music going to jujitsu, or like Mexican music too.
You know, neither of those surprised me at all. Following your Instagram was like, as soon as I heard you say metal, I was like, okay, yep,
That makes
that
sense.
makes sense. It checks. Um,
I
well,
like girl punk on the way to jujitsu because if I'm the only girl there and I was listening to girl punk the whole way, I'm like, I'm about to kill some bros today.
that's fair. That's fair. I think it's a safe zone. Better than corn and limp biscuit. It's like, why she got a shank on the mat now?
I
Like,
know, seriously.
relax.
No. Did she bring that fork with her? What's up?
Is she in the corner shaving that spoon down? Like, no, 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 no. Get her out of here.
That is not
But
allowed. No shanking in jujitsu. That feels like something I would have to tell my kids.
yeah, I
Put that fork
mean,
down.
well, I've had you here for quite a bit of time, and I don't want to take up all your evenings. So I would love to wrap us up here, but I definitely want to have you back on. And this was fun, just talking jujitsu and just talking
Yeah,
life.
just catching up.
So,
It's been a while.
yes, ma'am, it has. But before we get out of here, do you have any shout outs or mentions that you would like to drop?
Not really. I should say follow Dark Horse Combat Club on Instagram, especially if you live in Denver. You can follow my Instagram, Shut Up Nut. I want to do women boot camps quarterly. So if you live in the Denver area and you're interested in self-defense jujitsu for girls, or you know a girl who'd be interested, give Dark Horse Combat Club a follow or Shut Up Nut, and I'll be posting information about the next one hopefully soon.
All right. I will also put that information in the show notes. I was checking the metrics the other day. Like, I know at one point I had a lot of Denver like downloads, and at that point it was you just like absorbing it all. So I don't know. That still it carries over. I still have a lot of downloads in Denver. So
Good,
hopefully,
good, good.
they catch this and sign up.
Yeah, I hope so. Can't wait to meet you guys.
Actually, looking at the metrics the other day, I was like, I gotta shout Denver out because Denver be showing up. Like, I sometimes get more downloads from Denver than I do Maryland. I live in
Oh,
Maryland.
wow. That's hype.
Uh, Like, on one note, yes, but on the other note, I was like, I gotta talk to my folks. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Wait, my friends aren't even listening.
It's fine. Thank you, Denver. I love you all. Thank you.
Yeah, we love you. We love you too.
Yes. uh, and for everybody listening, thank you so much. I do appreciate you all. Denver a little bit more, but you know, everyone else too. California be showing up too. I love you guys too. In Germany, that's wild. Germany is wild as
Germany.
fuck. But yes, thank you everyone. If you have any questions, concerns, criticisms, always feel free to reach out. You can find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram or Off the Mats Podcast on Instagram. And you know, I'm very approachable. You shoot me a message, I'm always going to reply. I'm never too busy to reply. I've had some people say, "Oh my god, I can't believe you reply." Why wouldn't I reply? You shoot me a message, I definitely appreciate it, and I will always answer you unless it's something shitty. If it's shitty, then I'm not gonna answer.
Fair.
Except for one person said something shitty, and I replied. I just happened to be on at that moment. They sent the message, and I said, "Shut up." So, so there's that. But yeah, reach out to me. If y'all got any questions, concerns, want to be on the show, even want to give a big shout out to my crew over there at Nerd Rage Radio, Bobby, Chris, Joe, Rel and Phil. Love you guys. Ricky Ticky, all you fellas. Thank you. If it wasn't for Nerd Rage Radio, I wouldn't be doing podcasts. So thank you to those fellas. I also want to give a shout out to my other podcast, So You Like Horror. If you're into that kind of stuff, go check it out. We've been doing horror through the decades for 2023. I decided that we're going to start doing themes for each year. and this year was horror through the decades. And we just completed the 2020s, and we're going to do one more episode to kind of do a century of horror. So we're going to talk about everything that we kind of do a recap. So stay tuned for that. And then going into 2024, I think we're going to do cursed films. So maybe they're the final girls. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
It's
I
exciting.
have to talk with the team that doesn't even they're so divided on decisions. I just make the decision myself. I'm like, look, you guys can't fucking help me. But yeah, tune in for that, and stay tuned for what the theme for 2024 is going to be. And last but not least, my wonderful guest here is Shut Up Nut. Thank you, big shout out to you, and go give her a follow and follow her jiu-jitsu journey, and also go get into some boot camp over there. You know y'all need it, so go do
Facts.
it. Um, Otherwise, thank you, everyone. I love you to death. You guys keep listening, and we will keep making these shows. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
They were with it. Now let me sing a song.